Okay, so it seems like the Philadelphia Eagles just pulled off an absolute robbery, as a couple of their rookies already look like future stars, as they are off to lightning fast starts to their careers, and they are not done yet. And neither is Saquon Barkley, as the newest Eagles superstar continues to make history with his new team, while also bringing tons of value as a leader. And these developments surely have the NFL world wondering just how the Eagles were able to pull all this off. Meanwhile, the Birds' pass rush is continuing to get going, and a recent breakdown from a former Eagle revealed one of the biggest keys to the turnaround, so we're going to talk about that and all the other latest Eagles news starting right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles. And man, do things feel a whole lot more positive this week after the win the Birds just got. And dare I say, I'm currently feeling pretty good about where this football team is at right now. I mean, sure, they still definitely got some things to address and improve on, but I feel like sitting at 4-2, just a half game out of first place in the division and with a pretty easy schedule ahead of them is a great position to be in. Not to mention the fact that they're clearly trending upwards on both sides of the ball, and they're coming off a dominant win versus a Giants team that has kept all their other games of the season pretty close. So again, I think there are plenty of reasons to be optimistic about this team moving forward. And one of the most obvious ones is Saquon Barkley, who unsurprisingly has been the talk of the town ever since his dominant performance in his revenge game against his former team, as the former Giant went off against his old squad, piling up 176 yards rushing and 187 total yards while also getting in the end zone for a touchdown. And those 176 yards rushing were not only the second most all-time by any NFL player versus their former team, but Saquon also managed to outgain the Giants' entire offense on the day, and by a pretty wide margin. So safe to say, Barkley got his revenge and then some, while he also really put the Eagles' offense on his back in this game and was the main reason they were able to have a successful performance. And man, I mean, with each and every passing game, I just can't help but wonder how the rest of the NFL let the Eagles end up with this guy. I mean, dare I say, this is just about as good as Barkley has looked in his entire NFL career, as he's 100% been a clear difference maker for the Eagles through his first 6 games in Philly, and the numbers back that up, as so far, Barkley has 658 rushing yards, which is good for 3rd in the league, 761 total yards, which is 1st, 127 total yards per game, which is 1st, 6.1 yards per carry, which is 1st, 109.7 rush yards per game, which is 2nd, and 6 total touchdowns, which is tied for 3rd. And it's not like these stats have been meaningless either, as Barkley has put up these numbers in mainly close games, and he's made big plays in crucial situations. So, I mean, you honestly just cannot understate how good and valuable Barkley has been for the Eagles so far this year, but his value can't strictly be measured in on-field metrics, as he brings a lot more to the table than just that. Saquon is also a phenomenal leader and teammate, and that's been on display ever since he got to Philly, as well as really just his entire football career. And perhaps there's no better example in his time with the Eagles of him being a great teammate than in this mic'd up clip that the Birds social media team just released.
You're 13 yards away from your career high. I would love for you to get that, but that's up to you. I just don't want, I'm going to take out all the starters if they don't score.
You good? Let them eat.
You sure?
Yeah, good.
You sure?
I promise.
I'll listen to me. I want you to do it if you want to do it.
It's all good. I'd rather see the young boys eat.
Man, there's just so much to love about that clip, whether it be Coach Sirianni just having that conversation and giving Saquon the option to do what he wants in that situation, or Barkley just not hesitating at all and making it clear that he wants to see the other guys eat. I mean, this is just awesome to me. It shows a total team-first mentality from Barkley, and I also think it just tells you a lot about Barkley as well as the overall culture and camaraderie of this Eagles team right now. And honestly, I feel like that's something that we're not really talking about and we're kind of taking for granted, but it is super important, and I do think it's clear that the Eagles are a very tight-knit group right now. I mean, just think about all the ups and downs they've experienced in just a very short season so far, yet it feels like they've gotten closer and closer through it all, and that was especially on display this past week with the team coming closer and rallying behind head coach Nick Sirianni after some strong criticism came his way after the Browns game, as they had their best week of practice all season and then their best and most dominant performance of the season so far on both sides of the ball. And a huge part of that dominant performance was obviously their defense and pass rush, as they built on their great performance from the week prior against the Browns, where they had 5 sacks and didn't allow a touchdown, as they were somehow even better in this game, as they got 8 sacks and once again didn't allow a touchdown. And not only was it encouraging to see this output from the defense and especially the pass rush, but it's also encouraging to see the way that the Eagles have been rushing the passer lately, as they've been doing a great job playing as a unit on the defensive line in their efforts to get to the quarterback rather than rushing individually and chasing sacks in a way. And that teamwork by the defensive line to get these sacks was on display for everyone to see on multiple plays last game, with one of Jalen Carter's sacks being a perfect example. And And former Eagles defensive end Vinny Curry actually broke down this play on a recent episode of the PHLY Eagles podcast.
Yes. Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith worked together today. That was straight chemistry. You know, you go high, I stay low, I'll push them up to you. That was insane to see.
People don't talk about it enough, right?
That was insane to see.
Explain that. How long does that take to develop? Is that?
I mean, they've been playing together. They're going to championship together. Right.
Sure,
But just to see it on display today, you know, I said, damn, like what everybody's been waiting for, to see them two plus Nakobe Dean go crazy. When I tell you that they showed up and showed out, man, that was impressive.
What do you mean by the high and low?
So Nolan Smith comes speed rushing off. If you see Jalen Carter, he fakes it and come back to the side. Daniel Jones goes to step up and he's just right there.
Okay.
So he fucked on one of them
because
rushes.
He's going high.
Right.
Okay.
And if you watch after the sack, you could look at Nolan go, I told you, and then they do their little hand thing, and it was just like,
pretty good.
Oh, that's impressive. Oh.
It's definitely cool to see a former player and Eagles Super Bowl champion at that break down a part of the game that not a lot of people talk about. But again, it is really important just to have the guys that are rushing the passer playing as a unit rather than a bunch of individuals, which they fell victim to at times last year. So it was definitely awesome to see them do that on Sunday. And for Carter and Nolan specifically, I mean, it certainly helps that they played together in college and won a couple national championships together. So they already have that chemistry and connection together from their time together then. And as they both continue to develop and grow into their roles with the Eagles now, it's just cool to see that connection translate to this level as well. And again, that's just one small part of what has been a tremendously improved Eagles pass rush over the past couple games, so that's definitely awesome to see. And someone else who has been part of that is the third-year linebacker Nakobe Dean, as after a rough performance a few weeks ago, the much criticized linebacker has found a way to bounce back and make a big impact toward the Eagles defense. And don't worry, we're going to get into that and so much more in just a minute, but real quick, I do want to say, if you are enjoying this video and don't want to miss any other Eagles coverage or content just like this coming throughout the rest of this entire season, then make sure you subscribe, and also really importantly, turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos when they're uploaded. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss any of the Eagles coverage or content I got coming on this channel. I cover the Eagles pretty much daily here, so if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news, again, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, and also drop a like. Let's see if we can get to 700 likes in this video. And now, with all that being said, let's get back into the video. So as I was saying, Nakobe Dean is somebody who definitely deserves a ton of credit for the way he's been playing recently, as after a really poor performance in week 4 against the Bucs where he missed a glaring 5 tackles, Dean was ripped by many fans and people in the Eagles community, and rightfully so, as he looked pretty bad out there at times, and some of those missed tackles were awful. But in these past 2 games, he's been much better and a big part of the Eagles revitalizing their pass rush, as after a season-high 12 tackle performance versus Cleveland, Dean followed it up with an 11 tackle game against the Giants, where he also got home for 2 sacks on a couple blitzes and had 4 total QB hits. And he was overall the 3rd highest graded Eagle in that game. So that was definitely very exciting and a super encouraging sign for Nakobe Dean moving forward, and I honestly just think that given more time, if he can stay healthy and continue to improve, then he can be a very good player for this Eagles defense for years to come. I mean, the talent and instinct is there, and he plays a super physical brand of football, which you just love to see from the linebacker position, but again, he does definitely have some things to clean up, mainly the tackling in the open field and his coverage, but I definitely think he has the ability to do that. So I'll be curious to watch Dean just throughout the rest of the season to see if he can continue his upward trajectory. And someone else who I'm looking forward to watching continuously improve is the rookie Quinyon Mitchell, as at this point, I honestly don't think there's really any doubt that he has the tools and ability to be one of the best corners in the league. Heck, he might already be one of the best corners in the league just 6 weeks into his rookie season. Because I mean, if you look at his numbers, they are super impressive, as he's allowed just a 48.3% completion rate on 29 targets, just 197 total yards. He's not let up a single touchdown despite being tested, and he's also allowed just a 70.6 QB rating. He's had 6 passes defended, and he also has 24 tackles while only missing 2. And if you watch the games, I honestly think Quinyon has been even better than these numbers show, as he should have probably had like 3 or 4 interceptions at this point on the year if he could just catch the football, because there's been multiple plays where he's had his hands on it and he just couldn't bring it in for the interception. And he also does play a very physical style at the cornerback position, and that, along with his talent, ability, and skill, has allowed him to go toe-to-toe with some of the NFL's best receivers and lock them down. And his latest victim was his fellow rookie Malik Neighbors, as he allowed just 2 catches for 15 yards against the Giants and Neighbors on Sunday. And after the game, it was pretty evident that Neighbors was a little bit frustrated with how things went.
What about the Eagles defense, especially in the first half, that they were doing differently that maybe you had not seen on film?
Nah, I mean, nothing really different. I mean, watch the target tape. That was it. I was open. That was it.
Yeah, Giants fans and other fans of NFC East teams, you better get used to seeing Q out there giving your best receiver trouble, because that's all he's done so far in his rookie year, and I expect nothing less this coming game when he matches up against one of the NFL's best in Jamar Chase. And I also expect nothing less than continued high-level play from Quinyon's fellow rookie cornerback Cooper DeJean as well, as the Iowa product has been very impressive so far in his rookie season, albeit in a very small sample size, as Coop took over the starting slot job just 2 weeks ago against the Browns, but in the 2 games he's now started, he's been fantastic, as he's made plays including making some nice tackles on ball carriers, and also he's got some pressure on the quarterback and even has half a sack. And he also hasn't let up any big plays in coverage either. And overall, since becoming a starter, DeJean is the Eagles' highest graded defender so far, so safe to say that both the rookies are balling out in their first seasons in the NFL, and Nick Sirianni made sure to give both of them their credit in a press conference on Monday.
Yeah, I think I see 2 guys that love the game of football and are willing to do everything they can to get better at it. Highly competitive guys, very serious about football. Good teammates, work really hard. All those things that you see out of these guys on a daily basis. And it's good to have their youth and energy out in the field. And they've put together some good games in a row. Coop obviously just starting to become our starter and at the nickel position. He's had 2 good games in a row, and Quinyon's been good. Throughout the time that he's been here. He's not fazed by, anything. I think he just goes out and competes and plays his game. He's had a lot of production on the football. I think those are looking like 2 really, really good draft picks. That's really helping our defense grow.
Safe to say, the Eagles got themselves a couple studs in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, and if they keep this up, that's just super exciting for the Eagles secondary, not just this year, but also for many years to come. And honestly, all I keep thinking about is how in the world did the Eagles manage to pull this off during the draft this year? Last year, the secondary was clearly a huge weak point, so they went out and drafted 2 of the top corners in the draft, and by the way, they got them for great value. I have no idea how Quinyon fell to 21 and Cooper fell to the 2nd round, but it happened. The Eagles snagged both of them, and now they're making an impact and a difference for the defense in their rookie seasons, and it looks like they're going to be giving opposing offenses trouble for many years to come. But now, we already know the Eagles are going to face the Bengals this week, and leading up to that matchup throughout the week, there's obviously going to be a ton of news coming out. The coordinators actually just spoke today, and the Birds are set to be back out on the practice field tomorrow, so I'm going to be covering all that stuff throughout the week. So again, if you guys don't want to miss any of that, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. And also, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like to show some support if you did enjoy this video. I would greatly appreciate it, and it really does help me out a ton. Again, let's see if we can get to 700 likes on this video. And also leave a comment down below just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. How in the world did the Eagles pull this off, getting Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean along with Saquon Barkley in the offseason, and all 3 are making huge impacts? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So again, leave your thoughts down in the comments below regarding that or anything else that I talked about in this video. And also, if you want to watch another video going over the Eagles' dominant win over the Giants, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.